5 things that I think you should lose in 2026. And I made a list because I want to be able to tell you guys them in the right way. So, the first thing that I think we need to lose in 2026 is rushing. And the reason that I think that rushing is such a horrible thing is it makes us stressed out. It makes us not parent well. It leaves us feeling stressed out and worried and like it's an emergency. And the reality is, there's probably times when it really is not an emergency. But all of that said, I think it's really important for us to not schedule per se, but at least be planning for whatever activities we might have. If we know we need to be somewhere at a certain time, let's give ourselves enough time to actually be ready for that. Especially if you have young children and they take a long time to get ready, let's just avoid the rushing, give ourselves the time we need. Number 2 is having too many items or too many things in your schedule to maintain. This is something that I'm very passionate about because I do think that having too many things in your house makes it really hard to be able to be present and be a good homemaker because you'll have so much to do, whether that's the dishes or the laundry, or you've got to sweep around this and dust around that. It's easier if you don't have as many things to maintain. And if you have a really, really busy schedule and you feel like you're never home, you might have too many things on your plate. You might have too many things in your schedule, and maybe you do need to step back and reevaluate what's important in your life. The third thing to get rid of in 2026 is inflexibility and super strict schedules. This being said, I do think it's good to have routines and rhythms. Where I think it gets to be a problem is when we are so inflexible and so stuck on a schedule that we are unable to adapt when things don't go the way that we want them to. For instance, let's say the child doesn't nap or they go to bed at a different time and your whole schedule gets thrown off. I understand it's really frustrating, but if we're always stuck on it has to be at this time, our kids are not adaptable either. Now, it's good to be consistent. Let's give ourselves ranges at times instead of being on the dot. Let's allow ourselves to maybe have car naps instead of a nap at the home if we have to. Or maybe they don't nap at all that day and they have an early bedtime. Let's be adaptable instead of super, super strict. The fourth thing to get rid of in 2026 is a lack of planning. This one is really hard because we actually have to think about what do we want. So for me, this looks like not planning for meals. And then I get home from work and I'm like, what am I going to cook? Let's let's try to get away from that. So I think there's a couple things that we can do to make that easier. One is to have recipes that we know we can make easily, that our family likes, that are nourishing, and that don't take a lot of time. And those can be as simple as spaghetti with a meat sauce or tacos, something super simple. It doesn't have to be really hard. The other thing is to always have meat thawed and ready to go so that you can cook it up really easily and it doesn't take a lot of time and your meals will be ready soon. So for me, this means keeping a few pounds of ground beef in my fridge so that whenever I need a pack, I can just grab some out and cook it up. And ground beef is like my go-to meat because it does cook super fast and it is nourishing. And you can use it in a variety of ways. For instance, you can use it in meatballs. You can do meatloaf. You can do tacos. You can make soup. You could make patties. You could make hamburgers. You could do different things, and you can flavor it differently. You can go with the pasta sauces, or you can go a teriyaki route, and it's pretty versatile in that in regard. But it's also super simple, and I think that that's really handy for us. So in 2026, let's stop the lack of planning and let's just have these things in our tool belt so that we can make our home life easier. The fifth thing that I think we should get rid of in 2026 is inconsistency. Now, I don't think that this has to conflict with inflexibility and being too strict. But what I do think is that kids, and we do too, thrive on consistency. And that really could just be that you do the same routines every day. Now, this might sound boring, but I really don't think it needs to be boring. I think it can be a really wonderful thing for us to get into consistent patterns of what we do each day. And that can help us too to be more disciplined. It helps our kids to know and be prepared for what's going to happen. It helps us to not feel like we're super stressed out and worried about what's going to happen next because we kind of already got an idea of what we're going to do. All of this said, the big reason for why we need to do these things is because it is our duty as wives and as moms and as homemakers to take care of our own. Proverbs 31:27 says, "She looketh well to the ways of her household." And how can we look well to the ways of our household? I think by doing these 5 things, by leaving these things out, we can look well to the ways of our household. We can be prepared for what we are going to face. 3 words that I want to define 2026. So the 3 words are discipline, intentional, and presence. And the reason that I chose those 3 words is because those are things that I felt that I didn't do super well in 2025 that I would like to see myself do better at in 2026. So the first one is discipline. The reason that I chose discipline is because I think that it's really important as wives and moms to be disciplined, and also we model that for our kids. If we are not disciplined, how can we tell our children to be disciplined? And I think that's really important for us to model those things. So for me, what that looks like practically, because of me getting up earlier in the morning, so I'm planning to get up like an hour or two earlier than my daughter. And I understand that this is not for everyone in all seasons of life. Of course not. But in my season of life, my daughter is a little bit older and I can get up a little bit earlier than her. So I'm going to try that this year. And this really helps my days to go way smoother. I'm currently working a half day job, so I work in the afternoons, and that means that my mornings can be a little bit tight. So I like to be up before her and have my coffee and do my devotionals and just have a slow morning on my own before I have to do all the things that we got to do with her and get her ready for the day. And it really helps my day to just go so much smoother if I have that time in the morning. So that for me is what discipline looks like in 2026. The second thing is intentional. I feel that being intentional with how you spend your time is really important, and it makes you think about what you're doing with your time. So it's really easy for us to scroll on social media, me included. It's very easy for me to just start scrolling and looking at all this stuff, getting really into a reel, or maybe I look something up and I'm like, oh, look at that craft, or whatever it might be. It's just easy to get caught up in that and not be intentional about things I need to do. And the reality is that there are things to be done, whether that's cleaning or cooking or just spending time with my daughter or my husband. So if we can be intentional with our time, then I think that we will make better decisions. And that's what I want to do this year, is be more intentional about the way that I spend my time. The third thing is presence. Presence as in Presence. So the reason I chose that word is because I feel like in 2025, and pretty much since my daughter has been born, presence has been something that sometimes feels really challenging. It's hard for me to just sit there and watch and listen and just not do all the other things that feel like I need to get those things done. So this year, I want to be more present. I want to be around and not focused on a billion other things, but just focused on her, just giving her my attention and my love and helping her to know that what she's doing and how she's growing is really important to me. And it is. And people tell you that kids grow up super fast, and they do. As a parent, I can say that now, that my daughter has, it's just flown by. But I don't want to look back and realize that I was not present with her, that I wasn't living with her and being in her life. And I want to live this time now with joy.